when you're dividing responsibilities, for example, how does that work?
We just kind of went at it. Our artist started doing concept art. We started designing like a concept logo. We did an email chain with a bunch of game ideas, some of which are still in the game today, some of which got cut, and I started making the first prototype, and it just went from there.
And it's interesting hearing about cut content because a lot of times we're like, "Why was that cut?" When usually it's for the better.
Yeah.
What's a cut thing that sounds cool that ultimately it's being removed actually improved the game?
Well, there's actually two things I can tell you about. One is larger levels. Basically, the grid visually would stay the same size on the screen, but there would be more squares. So there'd be smaller squares in the same amount of area. And, I mean, you can imagine how complex the levels were. So we decided to cut that, not only because the levels were too complex and it was, you know, hard to make levels for, but also because none of the levels we could make in that were usable on mobile devices because it was just too small. You couldn't tap the squares, and even on
Ah,
PC it was looking really small. So we decided to cut that, and I think it was for the better.
so what engine did you use to make Star Reaction? I just love the tutorial text where it's like, "Righto, okay, yep, enough already."
It's actually a custom engine. It's an engine I just made in my spare time, not specifically for Star Reaction, but it's using that. And it's built on top of libgdx, which is Java based.
Ah, okay.
hmm Yeah, libgdx has been really great. It's totally free to use. I totally recommend it as well. I believe Minecraft uses it too.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Ah,
It, the other interesting piece of cut content is the freeze power used to actually literally freeze the stars. It would put like a little ice block graphic around them, and then you would not have to match that star. Like you could finish the level and it would still be there.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Starlight.
It still kind of got its own place in the game though, because you can freeze the bombs in a similar way.
Ah, man. Okay. Can I cancel? Can I cancel a power if I've activated it?
You cannot.
Oh.
Activating is for keeps. You should be okay though. I don't think you have to cancel here.
um, Laser beam. Okay, yeah, I did a bad thing.
I'm waiting for the stream to catch up so I can see the bad thing.
Yeah, I just. Oh, I didn't do a bad thing. I actually did a good thing?
Yeah, you're okay. That's the way you're supposed to do it.
Oh. I was so caught up with the conversation, I was like, wait, I did a bad thing. Oh. Speaking of playing for keeps, was I hear one of the hardest things to do in gaming is a save system.
hmm
So, did you guys have any difficulties with a save system or keeping progress or even just making sure things stay the same throughout a level?
we
Because,
didn't really have any issues with that. I mean, when you save the game, or it just saves automatically when you finish a level. But when it does that, it just, writes the data to a file. On Android, it was a little more difficult. I implemented the save system much later on that platform.
Spire, then fire. So, be honest, who wrote the level descriptions?
I did. I wrote all the level descriptions, all the tutorial text, all of that.
So, since you're a computer science major, did you find like in game development, often people have to do things that I don't know if that's within your regular skill set, but writing and coding and doing a number of different things, all within kind of the same time period,
Hmm.
that can be very difficult.
Yeah, especially when you're part of a three-person studio. You kind of wear a lot of different hats as a developer. I'm the programmer, I'm a little bit of an artist, I did a lot of the sound effects, so
Oh, so what was the process for sound effects? Because you can't really literally. I mean, did you literally go on location and capture stars in their natural habitat?
I wish, yeah. I mean, I just took my spaceship out of the garage and went out to space, interviewed a couple stars, talked about what it was all about, being stars up in the sky. But no, most of my sound effects I got online from, public domain sound effect websites. I
Those are always awesome. Did you tweak them to fit your own purposes?
Yes, I did. Almost all of them are edited. I think I'm most proud of the sound effect for flare, which I think you use in this level.
Ah,
It's
okay.
actually a firework sound effect.
Okay, I'm gonna turn up this audio a little bit so people can hear it.
Sure.
And that's interesting thing. People might look at this and be like, oh, that is an interesting sound effect. Some people might listen to it and be like, might look at the game and be like, oh, this is just a simple, match 3 or whatever. And
Hmm.
then and you might think that way when you're developing it, but it actually a lot of work goes into something that looks really, really simple.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir.
Would you say that actually trying to simplify things kind of also complicates them in a way because a lot more goes into, okay, this is a really cool feature, this is a really cool feature, this is a really cool feature. We need to cut this down by like half.
Yeah, it can, feature creep is a very real thing. So I mean, sometimes you'll think of a really cool idea for like a special power. Oh, maybe we want the gun to like turn into a dragon and breathe fire on all the stars. That's just a little too much work for everyone
Was that an
involved.
actual idea?
Yes, it was. I still have the animation on my computer.
Awesome.
That was going to be what happens when you combine all 5 colors, or all 6.
I'm gonna be honest. I want to try deluxe, but I'm not sure
Sure.
if I'm ready to go through the tutorials for. I don't know if I can bear it.
Well, do you want to try endless?
Oh, endless. I could also do that as well. Just out of classic.
Yeah, just hit the back button and then go to the endless. It's under deluxe on the main menu.
And we wanted to head over there anyway, so that's a good thing. Thank you.
Hmm.
So not quit. Return.
Yeah, quit. You want quit.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes that, like quit, escape. It's we. Is that another thing in game development, like back, quit, return?
Yeah, there's a lot of ambiguous words. Like, I wish I could put return to game, but then, like, on Android, it's, there's not enough space, and it's just like,
Can you kind of be like return game?
making everything readable on Android was a real problem for us, I think.
Yeah, we have really big icons on PC, which is very pleasant to look at, but it's
Yeah.
really necessary when you're using your finger instead of a cursor.
Yeah, that's also why I made the special power targeter thing the way it is, where you drag it to a target and then you click on the gun. Because I wanted it to be consistent between the PC version and the Android version. Like, a lot of people gave me feedback where it was like, oh, you should just make it so you click on a square on the board. That would be so much easier. But then it's like, okay, well, how do I display the instructions? And, you know, how do I do that on Android, and why support two different modes of controlling it when I can just do one? Makes it a lot simpler.
Time meter.
Yep, this is my favorite game mode, actually.
The
Mostly
panic.
because I didn't have to make a bunch of levels for it.
The panic meter. I love the panic meter because you're literally panicking.
Yep.
Bomb explodes. Perfect defuse gives a bonus. Alright, awesome. Valuable time will be wasted. Huh? What do you mean no time for that? So, what was the most challenging part of development? And was it also the most rewarding?
I think, yeah, it was. It was also very rewarding. It was learning how to work together as a team and kind of learning what each other's capabilities were.
So it sounds a little bit cliche, but friendship.
Yeah, basically. I mean, sometimes Ethan would have a really good idea for, some special power, but I'd be like, there's no way I can do that realistically. Or Charlie would want to do something special with the music, and I wouldn't know quite how to do it, but then I'd figure it out and stuff like that.
Ah, so
Or I'd have a really good idea for a special power, and then Ethan would have to try and draw it.
so figuring out team dynamics and how to make everything work was really rewarding.
Yeah, I would say so. I think
What
we work a lot more efficiently now.
what was the most surprisingly easy part of development? Because a lot is
Ooh.
a focus. Because a lot of things focus on like this was super duper hard. But was there anything that you're like, wow, that was a lot easier than we thought it would be?
Let's see. What was easy? There was a lot of hard stuff, and that's all I can think about right now. What was easy? The achievements were pretty easy to implement.
Really? Because that
Yeah.
seems like something that might be hard.
That's what I thought at first, too, but then I just kind of made it happen. I realized that, all the achievements is like something that kind of tracks what you do during the game. So I kind of registered each thing you do in a list, and then I check the list every time you do something. And if it matches one of the achievements, then you get the achievement.
Ah, man, I didn't read what the panic button does.
The panic meter makes it so you can't gain time. So you have to complete. You have to make a bunch of matches to remove the panic from the panic meter.
Ah, it's sort of like throwing water on a fire, or throwing fire on a fire to stop the fire.
Yeah, sort of.
Ah, okay, that's good. So I have to take the panic meter all the way down?
Yep.
Okay. That makes things really trickier. I thought, oh, I made a match. I'm fine now.
Yep, you're almost there.
Ah. So it seems like a big part of development is people think, oh, so many engines out there. It's so easy to just go from developing for Mac and PC and mobile. Mobile is easy. It's not easy.
I don't think mobile is easy personally, especially iOS. We don't have an iOS version of this game yet because it's so difficult. Like, you need a Mac first of all, which is a huge investment to me as a Windows user. And
Yeah.
you have to pay $99 a year for access to the App Store, and it's just too expensive,
Yeah. Is that part of the reason that you guys haven't gone to Greenlight with Star Reaction HD? It's just, return on investment.
That's an interesting story because back when Greenlight was still new, I was actually on Greenlight with this game, and we didn't get the feedback we wanted. Most people didn't want to see a match 3 on Steam, which is kind of weird because Bejeweled is on there, so it's like, what the hell?
Oh man, I
But
just looked over to the side and I saw I have all these power-up friends that
yeah,
I didn't